Good afternoon, Southeast Asia. We welcome you back to the most prestigious league in League of Legends, the Garena Premier League Summer 2017. 7 teams, 6 regions, they fight for their spot going to China for Worlds. I'm Vulcan, your shoutcaster for day 2 of the group stages, and with me is Iconic, my co-caster. So we're coming in from that game between Kuala Lumpur Hunters, and then right now we're going to be seeing the Kuala Lumpur Hunters and Resurgence, but I gotta hand it to Young Generation. They have been stepping up their game since day 1.
Yeah, Young Generation, the second seed from Vietnam. You can see that how they're leading the pack right now with 4-1. And wow, this is how they play. It's so different. And if they play like that and they're the second seed coming out of Vietnam, you just gotta wonder what's GAM gonna bring to the table.
So this is going to be, as I like to call it, without any anything in it. Young Generation, as for me, is the little brother of Gigabyte Marines, where they are the second seed. But when it comes to sheer raw talent, I gotta say, Young Generation is bringing in new tastes and new changes into this new format of GPL. But Iconic, let's get straight to the draft to see how Resurgence will face off against Kuala Lumpur Hunters. So far, I gotta say, for Young Generation, they are standing at the first spot. But this game, this match, can determine who will actually secure their slot and determine the tiebreakers. So let's get straight to it.
Yeah, I like these bans coming out of KLH. Banning out the Gragas, banning out the Maokai, the Jarvan. They don't want to deal with these possible flexes. All three champions are actually flexes that Resurgence can play. And then you also see the Tristan, the Saya ban, and then the Rek'Sai ban because they respect Caspiel's Rek'Sai. And we've seen Veki on the Saya doing a lot of work on the Saya as well. So really both of them have done their homework, and then Resurgence instantly getting the zap, and then KLH instantly responding with the Kalista. But the one thing that's actually interesting here is that Nidalee got locked in for Kuala Lumpur Hunters. So Caspiel bringing out one of those secret from the vault, bringing out the Nidalee. Although there has been some resurgence of tank Nidalee in Korean solo queue. I don't know if this is what Caspiel will be building. And then we have Ashe and Braum coming out from Resurgence. So yeah.
So with the first pick completing for Resurgence, they did secure their bot lane and jungle, whereas we are seeing that Kuala Lumpur Hunters actually prioritize the Kalista and one of the secret weapons of Caspiel, the jungle Nidalee. If used correctly, I think Caspiel can actually steal everything from internal, which will delay him in his pathing in items. But on to the second pick, we are seeing one of the powerful supports coming into GPL. Arakan has been secured for the Hunters.
Yeah, so Lucian mid also being locked in for Resurgence. We were talking about it earlier with me and Shinbu about how in Southeast Asia, for some reason, people don't like using the Lucian mid, but just as we mentioned that, Lucian mid does get picked 2 games later. And then Rumble as well. Rumble is decent against any top laner, especially because they have an AD mid laner. They wanted to get some more magic damage together with the Zac and the Rumble. So
I really like how Shiro has been picking up that Renekton continuously, but against a Rumble, let's see how it'll turn out. Resurgence did have a rocky start and a really bad day 2, but let's hope that this would be their comeback. Or with the Hunters, they also had a rough start in day 1, so fresh day, fresh mindset. But for the Hunters, the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, I think they have more at stake because they are the veterans making up to the GPL for 5 consecutive times, whereas Resurgence, the representative from Singapore, used to be Team Rigel, they will be facing up against each other.
yeah, and KLH is like the national team of Malaysia, so like a star-studded team representing Malaysia.
Yeah, it's like when you hear the KLH name, you would immediately think of, wait, that's from Malaysia. So for Resurgence, they are going to be facing off against, as I like to call it, one of the hype teams, because we are seeing the return of Azure Veki, one of the crowd favorites. Now as the ADC, previously the jungler of KLH, now becoming the ADC of them.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts coming into this game? I feel like Kuala Lumpur Hunters actually need this win to have a chance for the top 2 slot in the group stages.
Because right now, this is the second day of the group stages. We did see in day 1 where Am I surprised that the Team Manila Eagles actually secured one victory against KLH? So this would be a huge confidence boost. And right
Yeah.
now, I think KLH needs to psych up and get some confidence back from what they've lost in day one.
Yeah, and if just looking on at the standings, KLH need to win their next two games to secure a spot in the knockout stage, and they have to fight Team Manila Eagles next game
Yeah.
to actually decide whether they go into a tiebreaker or they will get the second slot immediately.
So this is going to be more of a death match for them, more of a cutthroat because day three of the group stages is more on. Not many games are already played because most of the teams already played out their games, but we are going to be having tiebreakers. But let us get straight to the game of Resurgence on the blue side, whereas Kuala Lumpur Hunters is on the red side. This is going to be KLH's confidence game or sec up. Same for Resurgence. They are having a rough day too.
Yeah, so really standard starts. No one actually going for any deep vision like finding out where the enemy jungler starts. No flash burn from Caspiel as well in the first few minutes of the game, so that's also good for Caspiel. But one thing I've noticed from Caspiel today, he likes playing these fast junglers that are fast-paced junglers that usually can do something against the enemy jungler when the enemy jungler just does his initial clear. So
So it's
right
more-
now, a little bit of aggression. The ward also checking out the start coming out from Caspiel.
So they do know where Caspiel is, so his clear path will be determined. They are starting the Raptors. A very good leash from Arhedge will really boost the speed of Caspiel's route. Whereas we're seeing Eternal going for the red start first and then the Raptors. So in terms of priority, I would say it would be on the top to bot because when it comes to the mid lane matchup, Galio has this natural wave clear which makes it very difficult for a gank to happen.
Yeah, and you have to take note that the Lucian does so well against Arhedge, but one curious thing here is Impresso actually getting the cleanse when there's no Elise on the enemy team. There's no hard CC aside from Arhedge's taunt and his knockup. So he could have gotten an Ignite instead to actually punish Arhedge some more. Or
So-
teleport to match the teleport coming out from Arhedge. Because this is the third time today that he's actually played Galio. So I like the Lucian pick coming out. It's like they listen. It's like they want to make sure that Arhedge doesn't get ahead because he has been performing really well on this Galio today.
So when it comes to response and team clashes, KLH will be more superior in that field because once the level 6 does happen, expect Arhedge may rotate to the bot or top, whereas where we see Intresto, he does not have any hard CC to at least control Arhedge, so this would be, in my opinion, Intresto being on a timer because once level 6 happens, Arhedge is free to roam.
Yeah, and talking about the top lane matchup, whoever dies or gets the kill first, whoever gets the first gank, actually can get lane priority out of this.
Oh, Intresto cleanse out of that taunt. We do see Caspiel for the response, but we don't see any commitment from Resurgence, so this will be a standoff. They do know where the junglers are.
Yeah, but Arhedge right now is bleeding. He's already 7 minions behind. He's also a few experience points behind as well. Intresso just turning up the heat against Arhedge's Galio, punishing him for that melee mid lane pick.
Well, he did pick up the Dark Seal, which will help his regeneration, but as against the Lucian, you're not gonna have a good time. The fact that Intresso is very aggressive, mana management-wise, Intresso will have the upper hand compared to a Galio because, let's face it, Galio is one of the most mana-hungry champions, and he needs mana to actually have his effective wave clear.
Yeah, especially with those changes with Doran's Ring, where you can stack Doran's Ring to get the bonus mana regen when you kill a minion. He has a really hard time in the mid lane, especially when you start with Dark Seal and refillable potion. You kind of want to get your corrupting potion. You also want that Doran's Ring, but you also want to get that catalyst as well to get more mana regen. So right now the itemization path for Galio, sure it's more linear, but it's also less rewarding compared to a triple Doran start.
It's more like he's delaying his damage output. Not to mention, when you delay the catalyst, let's face it, he will be going back home faster than in Traso because you need that mana sustaining. But when you pick up the Dorans, the corrupting potion, you waste so much gold.
Yeah.
Might as well put that in the catalyst build, right?
Yeah, so one thing I want to see coming out from our head is maybe a Bramble Vest Rush. Because you notice that how Entresso is playing the mid lane is he slowly keeps on giving our head some love taps with the auto attacks. So one way to punish that is by getting the early Bramble Vest to also return some damage against him. And since you are a tank with a lot of innate defensive skills, you can actually take the damage and punishment. While as an AD carry, you have to deal with the constant return damage from the Bramble Vest.
Yes, and it does give the grievous wounds, so his sustain, his life steal does get diminished quite just a bit so far. Seeing a first blood, tower dive by Rock, he does secure. Risk-free, but he did use his flash, so that would be a first blood. For Rock, may change the matchup in the top lane.
Yeah, and it's just really bad for Shiro right now because the wave is going to push towards Rock's turret, so he's going to lose out on minions and EXP as well. He does TP just to make sure that to minimize the amount of CS and EXP loss.
We're seeing some aggression. Flash in from Ciela onto Becky. Here comes the jungler. Eternal is onto him. Becky is good as that. Ciela gets the kill.
RSG, wow, I really expected that KLH would have the advantage in this matchup because of how well they've been performing, but for some Resurgence waking up right now, taking the first 2 kills of the game.
A good start for Resurgence, who did have a rough game in their previous, so this is a good morale boost for this team. They are having a really difficult time, so this is what they need. They need this good, let's see, good omen in a way that they are having a good time so far. 2-0, 5 minutes and 47 seconds into the game. Gold lead is onto them, so they do have the control, but we are seeing that Rock going in for a more defensive route, picking up the Arm Seeker's guard after that first blood.
Yeah, and you can see that that's very gold efficient against the Renekton, and I feel like the Renekton's going to rush his Phage, and he's gonna... In terms of the item efficiency, you don't get a lot out of stacking HP or AD against a Rumble that will get the magic penetration later on. So it's very interesting how even the CS leads among the solo laners of RSG versus KLH are slowly adding up, and Caspiel does get seen by that ward.
I just love how the quick decision that Rock made. Use the equalizer to clear that wave so that Shiro and Caspiel cannot dive him. So, quick decision from Rock. Very good decision and judgment. So this will be a gank denied by Caspiel. He is running a very good start so far, but in terms of CS and clear, he is falling behind 24 to 38. And the EXP, I would say Eternal might reach level 6 first, so that will enable him to have more powerful ganks.
Yeah, one thing to also take note about that equalizer usage was he was trying to avoid R-Hedge from also going, because R-Hedge could have went to the Riverside and they could have dove, 3-man dove top lane. Something that happened a few games ago, and it looks like Rock is well aware of that, just trading his ult instead of getting dove on in the top lane.
And great prediction from Iconic for that Bramble Vest pickup for the Doors Ring. So, as I heard, it was more of the, let's say, more efficient Sunfire Cape in a way, next to the magic damage. So this would give Entresso time to think, should I commit to this or trade off? So if he keeps hitting our hedge, he'll get damaged and the life steal is reduced. So this will enable Caspiel to actually snipe him from the brushes.
Yeah, especially when you play Lucian mid and you always rush the first item, Blade of the Ruined King. It is super efficient with the Bramble Vest, so we will see Caspiel getting caught behind enemy lines.
The Thief, King of Thieves, trying to get away from the jungle, gets choked, burning his flash from Ares, teleport coming in from the top lane. Fate's Call, oh sorry, not yet.
That would have been really good for Resurgence because they got Caspiel's flash for a red buff, but they had to commit the teleport as well.
Oh, look at Orhead training up really well, but forced to flash away because Eternal is there for the quick response.
I feel like he didn't have to flash there. He could have survived the damage coming out from Eternal and Trezzo. And Eternal is level 5, so he couldn't have kidnapped Arhedge to the first mid turret, so he was actually pretty safe considering that Caspiel was in the vicinity.
Shiro is a dead man. This is hopeless for the top lane of KLH, but he does manage to dodge the equalizer, granting him a second chance at life. But in the mid lane, Dresso gets picked up by Caspiel. No flashes for both members of KLH. The chase will not happen, but maybe a snipe. No, the blast cone will be his saving grace.
Yeah, but still, this will be a lost turret, lost blue buff as well, because Caspiel can do something about this. You do note that Eternal has no passive right now, so
This is actually
Caspiel
bad
might
news.
just go for the smite steal as well.
But Dresso catches the spear. The javelin toss will connect.
Do
Double
note
jump
that Hero's
there.
entrance is still
It's
up.
done. Oh, the thievery and the steal. Steal the blue buff and take a kill. Eternal pays a heavy price.
Caspiel knowing the limits of his Nidalee pick. Something straight out of solo queue, but still punishing Eternal.
My god, Eternal may have his nerves catching up to him. He thought as soon as the blue buff was stolen, I thought he was in the clear, but Caspiel, you know he wants more than he can chew, but this is the reward that he gets. High risk, high reward.
Yeah, but Impresso couldn't have dodged that as well, because Caspiel could have just gone cat form and then instantly go for the execute onto Impresso. So they should have. It was a no-win situation for Resurgence there.
So right now we are seeing the spike for KLH. They are level 8. They do have superior respawns compared to Resurgence, but it is Caspiel dictating how it's fine. If Caspiel goes in for a dive, he can just call in Arhedge for the assist. But so far, Resurgence doing a really good job in the top lane side where he is controlling Shiro. 0-1 and 0 CS advantage to Rock.
Yeah, almost 600 gold up against Shiro. And one thing you have to take note of is that cleanse pickup is really hurting Impresso right now, because right now he has no kill potential whatsoever against Arhedge. Arhedge will go for a Ninja Tabi next. I do assume that that is a Ninja Tabi, considering that they are running a double ADC composition. So Arhedge right now will be super safe against any of the AD carries coming out from Resurgence. Even if they rotate Cielo to the mid lane, he's still safe, and he has enough wave clear capabilities to actually deal with to thwart any kind of push coming out from Resurgence.
So far for Summoner pickup, it is very questionable because we are seeing a cleanse in the mid lane, and now we're seeing Ares use an ignite instead of an exhaust for that Kalista. So kill pressure is now and not anymore in the mid lane, but now in the bottom lane. So Resurgence, I wonder what's their game plan if ever Becky does get a good lead, but Fate Spell's coming in for a dive, and Tresso's in big trouble. 4-man dive onto the mid lane of Resurgence, and Tresso forced to give a kill to Bipolar. Top lane side, Shiro again feeling the wrath of Eternal. He does survive thanks to the Dominus.
Yeah, but regarding the Ignite summoner spell, you would think that Exhaust is actually a crazy hard counter against Kalista, because when you slow her movement speed, you lower her jump range from her her passive, and then she's a sitting duck compared to when you land an Ignite on her. She just gets reduced lifesteal, but she can still move freely.
That's more on control the high. Crystal Arrow for the snipe. There is Ciala for the assist with Rock cleaning it up.
And that will be the first threat of the game. Slowly but surely, Rock will be able to get that, secure that solo gold as well. And this is something you don't want to see, because remember when we were talking about Shiro picking up the Phage? He doesn't have magic resist, and the sorcerer boots will be picked up for Rock at the moment. Because they actually give the solo gold to Ciela as well.
Oh, this is huge boost for Ciela. With the KD of 101, he will be picking up 650 gold. That's worth 2 kills. And now in the bottom lane, we are seeing that Rock trying to get away from KLH. Here comes Arhedge from the mid lane. 4-man power dive. Arhedge picks it up.
Yeah, that was sad for Rock, because he wasn't able to recall before he teleported to the bottom lane. So he ended up teleporting using his flash as well, and then losing his life. But I'm sure that he still has a lot of gold in the bank, and he hasn't chosen to get an item yet. But
actually also hurts in a way for, let's say, KLH did manage to get the trade-off for, let's say, Rock used to teleport. That's a resource down, but the first turret did go to Ciala. He will actually have a better time dealing with Veki, but I'm really worried for Shiro because a Renekton that is 0-2, giving 2 kills to the enemy top laner means that you're pretty much useless throughout the game. You don't have the same impact as a Renekton should. He lost the first turret towards Resurgence, so for Shiro, he has to step up in terms of building more defensive now.
Exactly, and remember we were talking about how volatile this top lane matchup is. Whoever dies first, whoever gets a kill first, just snowballs out of control. And what you don't want to happen is your Rumble actually solo kill. You don't want your Renekton getting solo killed by the enemy Rumble.
And this is bad news because Rock already finishing up one defensive key item towards the Zhonya's Hourglass, and he already has the Leander's Torment. So I wonder what's Shiro's game plan. Maybe he should have rushed the Spectre's Crawl first and then went for the Phage and the Black Cleaver. But he went straight for the Black Cleaver, which is very punishing.
Yeah, but one thing you can take note of is that both of these AD carries coming out from Resurgence will be building Blade of the Ruined King. So Shiro's effectiveness will be hindered because he will get shredded down really quick.
And tightened beyond belief. So this is going to be Shiro's nightmare game. But he will have to depend on to Castiel and Veki. Let's hope that KLH can bounce back from this matchup. So far, we are seeing the Cloud King available for the taking. Shiro just farming in the bot side. Caspiel caught by a turtle. 2-man, let's bounce. We'll catch them with the equalizer for the torch on the blue side of Resurgence. Rocks takes the kill onto Caspiel. Caspiel may have just dug the grave for KLH. Becky tries his best. Face Call is here for the knockoff. Bipolar is tagging it for Becky. Becky should run, but here comes the cell division. KLH Bipolar will be securing the kill, where Aaron will also take him down. Becky will try to get back, but Ciala takes him down. And this would be KLH may give the first ace of the game.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was about to mention how you don't want to fight Resurgence in these really tight corridors because they have 2 linear abilities that give you slow, namely the Glacial Fissure and the Equalizer. If you layer them together, then KLH will be slowed, and they do lack a lot of mobility compared to get out of these kinds of sticky situations.
It's like a makeshift Ziggs convergence.
Yeah, so what happens is what happened was they went for that fight. There you go. Then the kidnap goes there, and then you look at how they layered the Equalizer together, and then they will layer the Glacial Fissure as well. So there is really minimal escape because everyone gets slowed down. Ares can face tank this in Treso. It was a nice effort from Becky, but sadly his Rend wasn't at the right time. He wasn't able to get the execute and reset. So that was actually really bad for him. Ciela as well, flashing over the wall, gets the kill onto Becky. Becky didn't see it coming, but that all Eternal also staying alive for being able to deal damage until the last second, and then he falls.
This is bad news for KLH. The kill score is now 8-5, but the fight's not yet over. Caspiel cannot even engage. Here comes 2-man knockoff from Eternal. Quickness for the charm, but Entreso is oblivious to that, so that would be a kill for the mid laner of Resurgence. Now, this would be Resurgence controlling the flow of the game.
Yeah, so now you can see that Ciela and Rock are getting out of control, 3-0-3 and 4-1-3 respectively. You can see that no matter what kind of itemization,
oh my god, I hope Shiro's skin gets used correctly for Resurgence. We'll be wearing him as a bag, so this is bad news for Shiro. 0-4-1, the top lane has been shattered and dominated by Resurgence. This is going to be a huge power imbalance.
Yeah, you can see right now that the moment...
Oh, Castiel with his senses. There was a ward, so this will be an easy pickoff.
Eternal does give a freebie for KLH. So when you see how they're playing, you can see that they just want to get rid of this air Drake now. KLH doesn't actually prioritize this. It's just that they want to reset it to get another Drake out.
Oh yeah, and now this would be actually Shiro's like Shiro Baton back, as my other players want to say it. So this would be Shiro's dark age, dark time, dark hour.
Yeah, going 0-4 in a game as crucial as this, that's not what you want to happen, especially when you run a top laner that needs to get ahead to become relevant in the game.
So we are seeing that KLH, they are running a pick of composition, but Caspiel, being an Italy, he did his job. 2-1-1 is not that bad, but it's the fact that the top lane really fell too quickly. First turn on the CL, that was a huge bonus for him. Now, getting a Zeal, a Blade of the Ruin King, might go for the Runas or the Phantom Dancer against Becky, we'll see.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing tank Nidalee this game though, but I feel like there is some merit to going full AP Nidalee because they do lack magic damage with tank mid laner. So yeah.
So finally, Shiro actually picked up the Mercury thread. So this is going to be magic resistance that was long overdue. So
Yeah, but this seems like a Ninja Tabi game if you ask me, because there are two AD carries on Resurgence's side, and their hard crowd control is just the stun and the knock-up coming out from Braum and the knock-ups coming out from Eternal. So not really a lot of efficiency getting out from that tenacity.
he should have been tenacious when he was building. He already got the PM at long range stun. That's gonna be long. Caspian's in big trouble. But here comes the heroic Andres RH for the save. Glacial Fissure for the slow. And for the backline. Look at KLH being barbecued by Resurgence. Interessa is there for the calling. Shot down onto RH, but Interessa will be trading him off. Eternal picks up Shiro. Shiro should be the star here, but it would be very difficult. He should have controlled the fight, but what can he do when he's 0-5?
Again, these tight corridors. This wasn't as tight as the blue buff fight, but it was still tight enough where Rock was able to land a really good equalizer. So I feel like KLA should be taking these fights in a more open area like the river or inside the lane instead of in the jungle, where they can get the Glacial Fissure with the equalizer plus the culling as well.
This is in a way that KLH sometimes dig their own grave, because if they try to respond to Resurgence, they end up in a tight corner. Maybe Resurgence is baiting them out, forcing KLH to play in those tight corners. So this would be KLH really being the victim here.
So we have a replay here. You can see how Eternal just goes straight up for it, and then the follow-up with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. And it is a very tight spot for KLH, but it all went in Resurgence's favor with that beautiful equalizer.
And now this is going to be more of an extended team fight in a way that KLH, they can just sit and watch.
Yeah, so again, getting barbecued by Rock. So feels like they should be changing their game plan on where they want to take these kinds of fights.
Oh, this is Resurgence being a bit happy. I bet they're smiling. So this is what they needed, a good confidence boost moving on to their other games. Whereas KLH, they are going to be having a rough time if they do not come back from this deficit. They do have the Cloud Drake and the Ocean. Turret score is not in their favor, however, so they do not have proper control. The Baron is now live, and I think KLH are losing vision in their own jungle.
Yeah, I feel like this is the point where you, as Resurgence, you want to start threatening the Baron, because you have double Blade of the Ruin King and double ADC. So they should just threaten vision control and then take the Baron.
Eternal's the big trouble. Here comes the respawn, the equalizer, and the Glacial Fissure. KLH forced to escape, but Entresso picks off Becky. The slow zone from the Fissure is just too difficult for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Yeah, these fights in these corridors have been what is making Resurgence win so hard lately, and I feel like regardless of the lack of Ignite, the Cleanse, even though he hasn't used the Cleanse as much as he would have with an Ignite or a Teleport or an Exhaust, it's still working out for Resurgence.
So this is going to be no vision for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. This will be Resurgence taking the Baron uncontested. Here comes Hero's entrance. Our try to respawn, but a bit too late. Resurgence already finished up the Baron.
Yeah, so you can see right there that, and I like to commend Eternal as well. Look at his kill participation, 11 out of 13. He has been everywhere except for the solo kill in top lane, and if I'm not mistaken, one fight in the bottom lane as well. So you can see how coordinated Resurgence are with their engages.
Eternal made the right choice. Pressure the top lane so that Rock, we know how Rock thinks, how Rock plays his champions, likes to be very aggressive. He wants those solo kills, and now he did. This is the price that Golden Hunters are paying for not even visiting Rock right now. See, losing a lot of resources, but Caspian was able to smite that blue buff.
Yeah, talking about aggression coming out from Rock, look at this latest item, getting a Rabadon as the second item of the game.
He is fearless, so he does want to pick off members. You see Bipolar, he does have the quickness. Resurgence takes the Drake, the Equalizer is there, same the KLH of Danger. Fire and Ice on the floor, Eternal goes in and takes away 2 members from Qualifier Hunters. Resurgence takes the fight, another tight corner. Qualifier Hunters cannot slip away from that spot.
That will be an inhibitor, possibly. Might even be the game.
That timers are pretty huge. 33 seconds left. Inhibitor are going to be taken down. They do have the Baron. So, Resurgence, I think we may have our winner. They are not wasting any time. Ending the game at 25 minutes in.
Yeah, this could be game right here. Congratulations to
Resurgence for securing their victory against the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. I gotta say,
what was actually interesting is it's a 4v5. Intereso wasn't even there. He was just split pushing in the top lane, and they still won the fight.
Wow, that's how far behind Shiro may have been, because picking up a Nidalee may work, but it only works where you're that ahead. But when you're not that ahead, this is just going to be a penalty for the Hunters. So I gotta say, Resurgence stepping up their game.
Yeah, especially Eternal, Rock, and Intereso. Intereso, I feel like if he took a different summoner, he could have snowballed out of control. But I guess he wanted to play safe, not allowing that Nidalee to follow up on the CC coming out from RSG. And Rock with that solo kill. It's crazy.
So let us actually see what happened, because this is actually shocking. Because
so you can see there that it looks like a good fight for KLH, but they get stuck in that cliff, and then look at the Equalizer gonna come. Sure, RSG is zoning, but that's irrelevant because look at how tanky Ares is right now, and Ciela is keeping him alive with the Knight's Vow, and then Eternal going for the backline gets Becky together with Shiro, and then Becky just becomes useless in the fight because of the amount of damage Rock is dishing out onto the backline. He even flashes the knockup coming out from Bipolar, and then Ciela just dealing DPS from the backline. Knight's Vow keeping Ares alive. Knight's Vow also keeping Ciela alive against RSG. So yeah, one thing that you have to take note of is if you're the AD carry and the support that have Knight's Vow together against a tank like Galio. Galio can't kill you, and what Galio ends up doing is just giving the support and the AD carry free HP.
it's like his aura of damage. So I have to hand it to Resurgence. This is a composition that has a nice theme. Fire and Ice to torch and freeze Kuala Lumpur Hunters so they cannot escape. They do have great mobility, so how do you counter mobility? You freeze them and then you burn them. So congratulations for Resurgence winning against the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. So there you have it. I mean, this concludes our game 4. We will be having other games sooning up. So guys, there you have it, with this game concluding with Resurgence winning the game. We have been your Shoutcasters. I am Vulcan, and with me is Iconic. We will see you after the short break, moving on to the next game of day 2 of the group stages. For charge on the blue side of Resurgence. Rocks takes the kill onto Caspiel. Caspiel may have just dug the grave for KLH. Becky tries his best. Face Call is here for the knockout. Bipolar is tagging it for Becky. Becky should run, but here comes the cell division. KLH Bipolar will be securing the kill, where Ares will also take him down. Becky will try to get back, but Ciela takes him down, and this would be KLH may give the first ace of the game.
Yeah, I was just
over. Caspiel cannot even engage. Here comes the two-man knockoff from Eternal. Quickness for the charm, but Entreso is oblivious to that, so that would be a kill. And from the backline, look at KLH being barbecued by Resurgence. Entreso is there for the golly shutdown onto RH, but Entreso will be trading him off. Eternal picks up Shiro. Shiro should turn into big trouble. Here comes the respawn, the equalizer, and the glacial finisher. KLH forced to escape, but Entreso came to the glacial finisher. Fire and ice on the floor. Eternal goes in and takes away two members from Qualifier Hunters. Resurgence takes a bite. Another tight corner. Qualifier Hunters cannot slip away from that spot.
that will be
They are not wasting any time. Ending the game at 25 minutes in.
Yeah, this could be game right here. Congratulations to
Resurgence for securing their victory against the Kuala Lumpur Hunters.